Welcome to the Tell You Later show, conveniently located at the intersection of historical and hysterical.
Sincere thanks to all those who support us on Patreon. See the full list at the end of the show. By the way, there's always room for more.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to their channel.
We haven't got a title song for this show, so we're singing this thing instead.
Okay.
It's really just a substitute. Nonetheless, the melody may stay in your head.
Oh, I hope so.
'Cause it's a tune.
It's a tune.
You'll love to croon.
You'll love to croon.
But there's one thing you should know. We have to confess we do not possess a title song for this show.
Ain't it peculiar?
Believe it or not, we haven't got a title song for this show.
Oops.
We're off to the races. We got audio, everything. Oh my gosh, this is so simple.
You're so excited because you're on this side of the camera.
Oh my gosh, I'm never here.
Welcome to a special, I always say special, but this is an especially special episode of the Tell You Later show.
They're all special.
Because sometimes we'll shoot things in advance and they don't get on published for weeks or months.
Many moons.
But it is November 2022.
It's November 8th. It's election day.
Oh, it's election
It's
day.
election day. So we're going to try to whip this out before
Well, it should be
19th.
out around the 19th.
Around the
And
19th,
we will
which-
explain why in a minute. But
Yes.
first, thank you to all our patrons out there. Every
Thank you.
single one of you makes this show possible.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not a patron, I would highly encourage you to become one because you get the first what do you call it?
you get the
I can't
first
think of the
viewing. You get the first release.
First early releases
Yeah.
of episodes.
Yeah.
You also get, especially we have 3 tiers.
Wait, you do. We do have 3 tiers, but there are.
By the way, this is the crew of one.
But I'm on this side of the camera.
Usually never on this side, but
I
he's joining
never
me
do
today
this.
because, as I said, it's a very special show.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is, if you start, there's 3 tiers. There's the audio, which
Right.
they get audio. They get
ODDIO.
audio. Yeah. Should I pronounce it audio?
Yes, it's audio.
ODD. Then there's audier.
The audiers.
Audiers, and they get
They're a little audier.
their little audio. They get the audio, and they get the Tell You Later show visual. Mm-hmm. And the audissimos get. There's several shows we're working on. There's Welcome to Later. There's Tell You Later, of course. There's Welcome to Later. There's Adventures in Popcorn. And then there's another show that I think I'm going to call it 5-Star Cooking with Katie.
Well, we do bonus material, and the top tier people get that. But not only that, they also get, for our patrons who have been subscribing for a while, they get benefits. They
Right.
get some merch.
They get
comes
merch.
their way. You've seen some pictures
Yeah.
of that. A mug, a hat, I believe.
Shirts.
I'm not sure what what the
Yeah.
schedule is. And also they get a Zoom call every quarter, every 3 months. We all get together and chat, and sometimes I bring on special guests. So it's guests. It's very
And last
personal.
time, who'd you have last time?
Last time we had Nathan Hubler and Chris Anthony Lansdowne joining us on the Zoom call. So
That
that
never
was really
happens.
fun. No, that was
Hey, it's
was
never
cool.
happened.
And
Yeah.
that's the truth. That's our truth bell.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the November Thanksgiving issue of Tell You Later.
Right.
The reason we wanted to do this, one of our patrons said, you know what? It's been a year since Will Ryan passed away, who we started the show with Will. It was
Right.
Will and me. This used to be Will's seat over
Yeah.
here. And we are going to reminisce with fondness.
Yes.
And we want to tell you how it all started, and we want to be honest, and Crew of One can verify this. I've been kind of in mourning and weepy for a year, but every time I look at Will's stuff or read something that he wrote or listen, I realize how happy it makes me. So
He's fun.
I've
He
been
was
kind
fun.
of putting off looking at stuff because I thought it would make me sad, but it's really very wonderful, and we're so thankful that we got to spend the last year of Will's life with him, and a lot of it in front of the camera.
Yeah, this was his last project, and we got a lot of video.
I won't say it was his last project because Will was working on multiple projects.
That's true.
At a time. As a matter of fact, his very last one was he was sending this popcorn haiku book off to the printer from his hospital bed.
Great picture. I wonder who took that picture.
Hey, Crew of One, did you take this popcorn picture?
I certainly did.
So, as we were saying, this is from an Adventures in Popcorn episode, isn't it?
It certainly, sure is.
Let's start the show.
Wait, you going to read a little haiku?
You want me to read a haiku?
Read a haiku.
If I do, I have to put my glasses on.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Written and explained by Will Ryan, elucidating forward and perplexing afterward by Katie Leigh.
And explained. I like that part.
But all the artwork is original art.
Yeah.
Will would draw a picture and come up with something, because I have read from this book before, by the way.
And he was awesome when he drew all these. He would sit here during the show and doodle stuff.
Well, that's what we wanted to share with you. Is I'll read this, but I want to kind of start from the beginning. We're going to go back and talk about.
Let's have a little humor.
How Tell You Later came about. A little history of this.
Put
kind
a
of
little
looks
humor
like
into
Eugene. I don't know if you guys can see this.
Let me see.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, it kind of does.
It looks like Eugene Meltzner in a way.
It kind of like the Mad Meltzner.
That was a character that Will Ryan played on Adventures in Odyssey, which is a radio program that we both worked on for, 34 years he started before me, so probably both of us, 35 years.
Yeah, still going.
Yes, it's still going. You can hear it on all your favorite radio stations and podcasts and...
In the Midwest.
No.
No, just kidding.
Everywhere.
Seems like it doesn't play in Los Angeles.
Do you want me to read this?
Yes, of course I do.
This is Lucky Blitherspoon, winner of the Jiffy Pop Challenge. Fewest unpopped kernels. So
wow.
This haiku is called Heaven on Earth.
Ooh.
Acres and acres, and acres and acres more. Sweet, poppable corn. So I'll explain the popcorn business as we go along.
Seems like every time we would shoot a show, Will would walk in and say, "Hey, I wrote another song for this show. It was so much fun."
Well, let me go back. I'm going to talk about. So it has been a year.
Yeah.
And we've continued to do stuff.
Because he told us to.
He told us to. Yeah. But how did it all start?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to tell you my version. Crew of
Then I
One
will tell
can
the
tell
truth.
You his version.
No, my version. There's 3 versions. Your version, my version, and
the truth. Right?
Right.
Okay, so why do we call you the Crew of One, by the way?
There's only one of me, I think.
There's only one of you.
I would rather say
the crew.
I would rather say crew of 2 because it rhymes, but I can't.
We could be the crew of 2 now. Now that you've shown your Shayna Putum. Do you know what that means?
Yes. I don't know that I'm going to do that. I might just let the patrons have at it. No YouTube action.
We'll see. Anyway,
we'll see.
So
talk about it.
Let's go back. Will and I met about 40 years ago, and at a party. And I've mentioned this, but this show I'm going to kind of try to put it all together. We met at a party at Eric Goldberg, a famous animator who's now famous. He wasn't famous then because he animated the Genie in Aladdin and a whole bunch of stuff. He worked at Disney's, but Will was working on a Ziggy cartoon with him, doing the voice of Ziggy, the lovable loser, as Will would call him. So my neighbors were having a party, and they said they knew I was doing voiceover.
And where was that? Was that in
Sherman Oaks?
Sherman Oaks, the Valley.
And they said, "Hey, this other voiceover guy's coming over. His name's Will Ryan. You must know who he is, right?" And I said, "No," because I was new in town. So we met Will at a party, but that was one night, and I didn't know much about him, and it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
But eventually, we finally worked together on Dumbo Circus. And I've mentioned that Dumbo Circus was a show produced by the Disney Channel. And
I wonder if you could see that anywhere these days, or is it in the vault?
Kind of hard to
It's
see.
locked up.
There are some episodes on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I ended up being cast as the voice of Dumbo. That's our show for today, boys and girls. I hope you liked it. And Will was writing. Well, he had been working on Welcome to Pooh Corner, and he was Rabbit's voice.
Yeah.
On Pooh Corner. On Dumbo's Circus, he played Barnaby the dog. And he also I'm going to tell you all the cool things about Will because why we love Will. This is subtitled How It All Started and Why We Love Will.
Woof, woof. There's a dog.
I don't think he no, that's not, do you know what he used to do?
No, what did he do?
A he? Well, I can't.
Oh, like that.
That's how Barnaby would. Yeah. How Barnaby would.
I remember. Yeah. Okay.
So he was working on Dumbo Circus, but Will was writing scripts for the show, and he was writing songs for the show, and he was also playing a character on the show. And we worked for about 3 days a week on that show for about 1.5 years. So that's how we really came to know each other. And Walker Edmiston, who was also working on the show, and Hal Smith. And then we started working on the Gummy Bears cartoon together. And he played the ogres in Unwin, and I was Sunny Gummy. So in the business...
What does she sound like?
She sounds like, does my hair look all right? How do I look? Oh, why doesn't anybody ever listen to me? So that's Sunny Gummy. And that was a dream come true. I don't know, I've probably told you this before, but Will and I were in the studio the first session, and I was really pretty new. Will had been in show business for a long time. He's about 9 years old.
Were you wet behind the ears, so to speak?
Kind of wet.
Yeah.
But I tried to dry.
Oh, no,
I got to the studio.
Yeah.
But our idols were on the show. Bill Scott, who was Bullwinkle's voice, and June Foray, who Will knew. He was president of CIFA for a while, which is the Animation Society. He worked closely with June. He was friends with June Foray. But she was on the show. She played Grammy Gummy, and Bill Scott played Gruffy Gummy. And Paul Winchell, who I was a huge fan of, played Zummy Gummy. And we were there, and Will and I would stand there side by side, just like, I'm going to zip your pocket up.
Thank you so much.
There, you're welcome.
I feel much better now.
And we'd say, you know what? Someday, we just wanted to pinch ourselves. Someday we're going to be them, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Sharing stories about what we've experienced.
Right. And by the way, side note with June Foray, I met June, and I think she was 93. I met her at a convention. Yeah. And she was still working.
Well, yeah. You know, a lot of voice actors seem to, talk themselves into heaven.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe that's a
good way to put it.
I don't know. But Will and I really, because when we started, it was the 80s, a lot of the people that we worked with were old radio stars, recording artists, people who were pioneers in animation, and they were older than us. And then we thought, someday, we're going to be on the other end, and that's kind of where we are right now.
Yeah, Odyssey's kind of like that. It's kind of a, an audio drama kind of thing.
Well, it is. Now they call them scripted podcasts.
Yeah.
So then, what I didn't say, after Gummy Bears, we got on Adventures in Odyssey.
This is an unscripted, don't call it a podcast show.
Don't call it a podcast show. All right.
True fact. Okay. So now that we got that out, I feel much better. Okay.
After doing some other work in Hollywood, we go to work on Adventures in Odyssey, which is a radio show produced by Focus on the Family. And there's Will. I had no idea he was on the show. He didn't know I was. And then we ended up playing two characters. Connie, I was Connie. He played Eugene Meltzner, and I was Connie Kendall. And we had a lot of business with each other. We were kind of antagonistic. We played off each other, and
that's how I saw you guys at first.
And a lot of our real personalities kind of seeped into the characters. So my character would tease him, and he would tease me the way we kind of did in real life. I'd go over and write stuff on his script, so it would throw him off, and we would just look at each other and crack each other up.
Yeah.
And I was always just, you are a wonderful singer and musician too. Crew of One plays multiple instruments. He has perfect pitch.
Just
I do
nothing
not.
for this show yet.
But I was a big fan of Will's because he would draw and write, and we'd had a lot of the same sense of humor.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling you my history with Will, and with a happy face.
Yeah.
We were married prior to being married to each other.
Yes.
And I mean, Will came to my first housewarming, and then when I don't even know, it probably was, I was probably still married, and then after that, a long time ago, before there were DVDs or streaming or anything, when you belonged to when you were an actor, belonged to the Screen Actors Guild, movies that were nominated for the Academy Awards would be in theaters, and they'd say, if you have your SAG ID, you could get in for free.
Right.
So Will and I used to go to movies.
Oh.
Will used to go probably about 2 or 3 places a night.
Yeah.
In general, and especially on the weekends.
It's market research.
Well, but he'd go see bands. He always supported his. If he wasn't playing, he'd support his friends who were playing.
Right.
And I was one of the numbers on his roster, because he probably calls me and say, "What are you doing tonight? Do you want to go do this with me? Do you want to go?" And if I was free, I would. And if if I wasn't, he'd probably call somebody else and go with them. He was always involved in Hollywood. He loved old movies.
Yeah.
And go to screenings.
Hollywood actors too. He would be, he have real close relationship with many people.
Because he and I both, but he had more of an opportunity, I think, to friend older actors who he admired, older musicians.
Musicians.
No, singers.
Singers, yeah.
Performers.
Yeah, he would hire them too.
He would try to hire them.
Yeah,
he'd try to get them on Odyssey, but he'd friend them. I know after he passed away, I heard from people who he had helped just visited. People who are older, who used to work, and it was such a shame. And his heart would always be so heavy for the people that he thought were so talented, but Hollywood thought they were too old to participate. And he would always, and that's he was like a magnet, and he loved everybody so much. If he was doing a show, he'd try to figure out a way to get somebody he liked to be a part of it.
Sure.
And I don't think he ever made a lot of money in his shows, but they were always so fun. And
he spent his money doing that. Yeah, he would spend his money doing that, making records and funding his projects.
Yeah.
But most of the money he made was songs, songwriting, and being characters on shows.
And the first time you really got to know Will was we went to, I think it was the Odyssey's 15th.
It was an Odyssey event.
Adventures in Odyssey 15th anniversary in Colorado Springs. Jess Harnell was there.
Too.
Chris Anthony came. I don't think Townsend came.
I don't remember.
And I think at that time Paul Hurlinger was Mr. Whitaker, and they had.
Right.
But the point is this: we were engaged.
Yeah, we weren't married, so.
And you didn't know anything about Odyssey.
Not really.
But I wanted you to come and see what Focus on the Family was like. And so you were Will's roommate.
Right.
You were his +1. And you guys.
I'm telling you what, he's a great roommate.
So you guys got to do that. And we had a blast.
It was a great time.
We went on a tour of Garden of the Gods. We were all in a big van. And you, you have a name.
I do.
It's Vinny. But Crew of One and Jess Harnell and Will were singing Beatles songs and harmonizing.
Yeah.
So, fast forward. So that was...
that was...
15, 20 years ago.
That was 20 years ago already. Jeez.
So, fast forward to COVID.
Right.
Okay, so Will and I have done... Well, we did a lot of conventions together. Because people kind of associated us as like a pair, Connie and Eugene, and
kind of like June and who was her partner?
Bill Scott.
Bill Scott, yeah. June and Bill, they were kind of together, and Their projects.
On-screen
Yeah.
partners.
Yeah.
So we Cameo. I don't know if you guys know there's this app called Cameo, and people can request messages, personalized messages
Right.
from people. So,
Yeah.
well, Will and wait a minute, I might be jumping the gun. Prior to that, we had written a book called Adventures in Oddity, which I can't show
it's
you
not
because
right
it's
here.
not on the table, but
Yeah.
Crew of One, you could.
It was.
There's one down there.
What are you saying? You want me to
If
grab
you want
it?
to go get it.
Oh.
But it's called Adventures in Oddity. Maybe.
Why don't I'll put a picture of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be better. Okay.
So we just had fun writing this book.
Wait, how did that fall into my lap? Because I ended
Well, wait
up...
a second.
Okay, all right.
First, we wrote the book.
Yes.
And then we decided we wanted to do an audio recording
Wait,
of
back
it.
up a second. Why did you write the book? Because of that picture.
Oh, that's right.
That picture. They took a picture before.
Okay, well, I've told this story, but
Okay.
when you see the cover,
Uh-huh.
because already said Will and I were friends a
Yeah.
long time ago, and when I was starting out, I thought I might do on-camera work.
Sure.
And you have to take pictures. They for composite pictures back
Right.
then for on-camera.
Like 200 shots.
For the
and then you
commercial.
pick what?
And so
3 or 4?
I called Will and said, "Would you like to pose with me? I
Yeah.
need so you can be in a picture with me for
Yeah.
my composite." And he came. We went to Griffith Park, and Tabby Cooper was the photographer, and we took pictures. So about 10 years ago, maybe longer, I found my
We were going...
I
think
found my
we're-
pictures.
Yeah, we found the picture.
Found pictures. I found the composites, and I also found all this. And there was this picture of Will and I
Right.
that looked like Connie and Eugene. And actually, it's on the. Is it on the wall?
Yeah, I'll put a picture of it so you can see what it is.
Heck!
Anyway,
So I called up Will and I said, "Will, you got to see this picture."
yeah.
And maybe I showed it to him. I said,
Yeah.
"Look, we look like Connie and Eugene, the characters we play on
Before.
Odyssey."
This is before they were Connie and Eugene.
Yeah, we took a picture before Connie
Yeah.
and Eugene ever
Existed.
existed. And I said, "We should give this to Focus on the Family." And Will said, No, save it
And I agreed with him.
for our book. And I said, "What book?" And he said, "We'll write a book, and then we'll put
Yeah.
this picture on the cover."
Yeah.
So that's how the book came about. You're right.
Right.
So
Yes.
we wrote Adventures in Oddity. And also because when we went to conventions or something, let's face it, we have to do things to supplement our income. So it was something that we could sell and autograph. And
Right.
we came up with that. And then we went over to Phil Lawler's house to record the audio because we started a
Yeah.
podcast at Phil's. So
Yeah.
Phil and Will did a lot of work together.
Right.
For instance, on Elmo Aardvark Space Detective.
Dun dun dun.
There's a lot of music. We have a lot
Yeah.
of CDs you can't see yet.
Such as this one.
But anyway,
Which is gonna
Phil and Will did a lot of other stuff besides Odyssey together.
Sure.
And they Phil Lawler helped write some Elmo Aardvark stuff and did voices. Anyway, so they thought they wanted to do a podcast a long time ago.
Yeah, they
Gosh, years ago.
That was at least 8 years ago.
Or
10? I don't know. The time just flies.
Went over to Phil's to try to record a podcast, and I know that Phil has many, many recordings stashed away
Certainly
somewhere.
does.
And we said, "Phil, can you record us? We're going to record our book, Adventures in Oddity, and make it be a audio type book."
Yeah.
Excuse me, I have hiccups. So Phil recorded it, most of it,
Yes,
at
he
his
did.
house, and Phil was going to edit it.
Right.
But Phil got too busy.
He got busy.
Got way too busy.
So he...
And by the way, Will used to say, "Oh, you should buy the CD because there's much more music than the book."
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, the audio.
More music than the book.
The audio had a lot more music
Which,
than the
of
book.
course, because
Yeah.
Will always carried his ukulele practically everywhere, a
Right.
guitar or ukulele, and
Yeah.
would spontaneously combust into music.
Oh, yeah.
And,
he was awesome. He
and
was
we would
an
write
awesome
songs
player.
on the fly, too.
Yeah, he was an awesome guitar player. I was amazed at his guitar playing. It was just awesome.
Yeah, and
really good.
singing. I
Yeah.
can't believe he let me sing with him, but I digress. So, we waited, and Phil
For
was
Phil.
so busy.
We waited
and
for Phil.
finally, Crew of
Phil
One here.
called me.
Oh, he did?
he called me or something, or maybe you were talking to him, and then he talked to me, and he said, I'm too busy. I can't finish this project. Do you think you could do it?
So all the recordings went to
that
Crew
was,
of One.
Whew, that was a lot of work. It's so much work when someone else starts it, and then you have to finish it. And then, of course, Will wanted to add Ian Whitcomb.
Because he always wanted to add people. So Ian Whitcomb, look him up. He's a great... I used to listen to Ian on the radio.
Yeah.
Behind this
he did a
curtain, Ian used to sit on the couch, and he came over a couple times and recorded some stuff for our
we got him in the
audio
booth.
version of Adventures in Oddity.
Yeah, we got him in the booth and we wrote a script for him, and he read it, and we added
intro,
that.
I think.
And we added that. I mean, it was just, the thing about working with Will is you got to hurry up and put it together. Otherwise, he's got all these ideas he wants to add to it. Other stuff. So I had to hurry up and finish it so we didn't come up with a bunch of other ideas.
Just when you think it's done, it's
you got to add some stuff.
We even had to re-record some stuff, and you can't see it, but next to me here is a 4x4 foot recording booth where I do most of my work.
Booth. Yeah,
from
vocal
home.
booth.
And Will and I had to cram in there to read some stuff. Oh, for the bonus. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. We're not there yet.
No,
this was just the first one, the red book.
Okay, so that was the red version, which, by the way, I have copies.
Not many. And we're not gonna make
I do have copies, but they're not printed anymore.
Yeah,
because
we're not printing them anymore.
That was the first edition,
right? And we've upgraded it.
But I take those with me to conventions to autograph.
Yeah, people that have never seen the book, they buy it.
So
she autographs it.
It's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's kind of like listening to us talk. Will and I talk to each other. But if you order the MP3, which you can through my website, katielee.com, and you have the book, it's kind of fun to listen and see how much we're not exactly reading the book and where we went crazy.
There's much more in the audio than there is in the book.
And Phil Lawler's on it, and we have a rousing rendition of Eagle Dip, which is one of the Will's names for future planets or possibly elves.
Right, or possibly elves.
Possibly elves.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, we did that, and then Will decided he wanted to do a bonus edition, and we added 50 pages, which we need to get it. I'm going to get the copy right now. Excuse me.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for continuing to watch Tell You Later and support, whether on Patreon, YouTube, however you watch it, however you support us. Thank you so much. As we may recall, it's been about a year since Will passed away, leaving a very large space in all of our hearts and lives, and this show, of course. This is actually my first time being on the show as myself and not a character, which I have loved all of the characters. Most all of those characters came directly out of Will's imagination and then into being, whether that was the Harperella. He came up with that name, attributed it to the version of me that plays the harp, and then suggested that there be a critic. So that was the Rebecca von Schneer. And then he eventually said, he was like, well, what if there was a version that instead of criticizing and disliking everything about the show, loved everything about the show? So that's how the Fangirl came about. Unfortunately, he never got to actually see my version of the Fangirl, but it has expanded, as you may have noticed, to lots of different subjects for me to stock. And so all of those really came from Will's imagination to begin with. Katie asked me to tell a little bit about how I actually came to be on the show, which I find to be a very fun story of, happenstance, so to speak, or perhaps providence. Back in 2019, I was at a melodrama very tiny melodrama up in the mountains of Colorado. It's a tiny little town called Silver Plume. It's an annual fundraiser melodrama they do. I was there because I knew the person who played the piano, and so I was there early. I sat down. There's kind of a potluck dinner first. So I sat down, and my friend had to do other stuff, so I was kind of sitting there alone. I almost had backed out of going just because I didn't really feel like going, but okay, I said I would go. It's the only day I could go to see my friend play the piano for it. Awesome. So I ended up sitting there at dinner, and at some point I realized that the person sitting across and one over from me was Will Ryan. So I stopped mid-sentence once I fully realized this and asked, "Are you Will Ryan?" And he said,
Tell You Later is a Patreon-driven entertainment show. So what are you waiting for? Come on over. Join us at patreon.com/Tell You Later.
Languid fiddle